I was turning off. Look at that. Are you getting the other? Can you open up other lines? Yeah. Well, it was. Uh-oh. It was doing it.
Hey, Adam.
I'll hook you up.
How are you?
No, there you go.
Good.
Let's see.
Thanks for coming.
Wait a minute. No, I'm on that.
We'll call you up.
No, it's not doing it. There.
All right, good morning.
I hope so. If it doesn't work, I'll get one going for you.
Let's start this morning with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I think while you're standing, or I would ask you to continue to stand, I'd like to have just a short moment of silence for Congresswoman Walorski. Congresswoman was here in the community just 2 days ago, and she was anticipating representing this city, which would have started in January. Had a really great meeting with her, and I think ask y'all to remember her family, those that were with her, their families, and all that were involved in that accident. All right, thank you. All right, got a lot of good work to do today, so let's get started. We'll start off, Dr. Bosch. You want the minutes approved, Lynn? Is that what you want? All right. Also, let the minutes reflect that we're all present today, so those were presented in the board pack. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes, or is there a motion to approve those as presented?
We both looked them over and thought they looked great, so I'll make a motion we approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you.
All right. Dr. Nate Bosch is making his way to the podium. He's going to give us an update on Stormwater Projects, which we'll always eagerly anticipate. So, Nate, good morning.
Good morning.
This should work. There you go, Nate.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. The technology might not work. I do have one printout here of what I'm going to share there for you, Mr. Mayor. You can pass it on to other folks if you like. Let's just drop
May
it.
have to add.
Oh, wait, here we go, maybe.
Might get lucky here.
Oh, it might.
No,
That's a
that's
nice
not it.
Stormwater project.
Yes.
Now, what area on the lake is that?
Well, that actually is the background on my computer, so
That's a good sign.
that is a good sign. We're
The cave in South Pacific.
I think that's the background on our computer, too.
Oh, is it? Okay, so that doesn't actually give us any confidence, does it? Okay.
I'm going to try one more time, HDMI 1. It should be coming through on there.
Yeah, it says input one.
There you go.
Hey, there we go, good. All right, well, I just want to give you guys an update. And so you guys, as part of your MS4 responsibilities for the state of Indiana, you need to do some educational programs in the local schools. And you guys have contracted with the Lilly Center for Lakes and Streams for the last several years to do some of those K-12 programs in the schools. And so we have a memo of understanding that we prepare each year, and this is sort of a investor report, if you will, on what we did with that support through that contract this past year. So the first thing that you guys supported was our workshop series, and so we did several community events around. We did more focused events this last year due to COVID, where it was smaller groups of people and more often. So we did some native seed starting projects, we did some family fishing, as well as some green cleaning, and worked with other partner organizations on those as well. I'm not going to go into great detail. I know you guys have a full agenda. If you have questions, just go ahead and stop me. We also did our classroom lake experience. This is where we put 40-gallon aquariums in local K-12 classrooms. And so the city of Warsaw is well represented in all of these different schools with these aquariums. Our college students go and maintain those aquariums. We do educational events. We have a library of books that go with all of them. And all the teacher needs to do is feed the fish every other day. We also did our big Lake Adventure Day. We had over 500 students this year. This happens at Lucerne Park on Pike Lake each year, so we're very appreciative to the Parks Department for hosting us each year. That park has just continued to get better and better every year. Thanks, Larry, for your team's work there. Fourth grade program, and we had staggered start, shorter format. Success teachers have requested even to do it again next year this way. And so we were able to get some schools even for more outlying areas in Kosciuszko County to come, as well as great representation from our Warsaw schools by doing it in that more shortened format. It was a half day rather than a full day, so other schools were able to come. So fishing is always the highlight. And what's amazing when we do this fishing is very few of these kids have ever held a fishing pole, much less ever gone fishing. Even though they're growing up here in the city of lakes, there's very few kids that get the opportunity to go fishing. And so as these kids grow up, to expect them to take care of our lakes is a pretty hard sell if they've never been able to interact with their lakes. And so this is a really cool program to get kids actually on one of our lakes and hopefully catching fish rather than their ears. So we also do the art contest each year with your support. You guys were the sponsor of the month of August this past year. Stormwater Utility was. And so that art contest pulls in students from around the county, and they all are doing different water-related artwork. And here's just an example of that. Just beautiful artwork. Our lakes are important for our economy, but they're also important for our quality of life and just the aesthetics. And that aesthetic really helps inspire a lot of students. That's all I have to thank you guys for. I will give you a quick heads up that we're going to be looking at doing some stream sampling in the city of Warsaw area, and so stay tuned for that. We're looking at putting some sensors above and below Pike Lake to better understand that lake of the three here in Warsaw really needs some extra love. And we want to see that lake get cleaner in the future. And so we want to know what exactly is going in and what's going out. And so we're going to be working with Brian on maybe another MOU in the future for some funding to do those sensors so that the city has that information that they need to properly manage that lake. So stay tuned for that.
Thanks. And as you mentioned, these are requirements, the educational requirements are critical to us maintaining our permit. So we've always entrusted that educational component to Lily, and thankfully we have, because they do a great job. Just came off another event a week ago. down
Yeah.
at the beach with the Blues and Lily.
Yes, it was a good Lakes Festival event, yeah.
So,
Great partnership.
great. Any questions? All right.
We so appreciate you, Dr. Nate. I know you know that. I went to the event a month ago and went on a lake, and what you're doing is critical for this area. We really appreciate it.
But yeah, please continue to remind us we do live in the city of lakes. That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you so much. All right. Lynn, it doesn't appear there are any reports from your end, so let's go into unfinished business. We'll start with item number 1, and this is the awarding of the bids for the Center Lake Pavilion project. So I would ask, Aaron, you want to come up and talk a little bit about this?
Okay. At our last meeting on July 15th, which was 3 weeks ago, we did open bids for the Park Pavilion renovation. We received 2 bids that we took under advisement, a bid from an R. Yoder Construction and a CME Corporation. We took the bids under advisement and broke down the different items and made sure these bids were or were not responsive. And unfortunately, we discovered through the process of vetting it that there was oversight in the bid from R. Yoder, which disqualified the bid as being a responsive bid, and therefore leaves us with 1 valid bid to evaluate, and it was a responsive bid, and we deemed the contractor to also be responsible. And there's a letter there that breaks down the cost, the base of this value with CME that takes their base bid as well as the mandatory alternates for fire protection and floor leveling, puts the value at $2,776,000.00. The advice I'm coming to the Board of Works with today through our design consultant at Design Collaborative, the Parks Department, and through my vetting, is we believe that we have an awardable contract that we'd like to recommend the board consider award to CME Corporation for this contract. We don't have the contract prepared yet for you to sign, but in addition to, if you do so make an award on this contract, we are also asking for permission to go ahead and send a notice to proceed to CME Corporation. And the reason for that is their bid is only a 30-day bid, and before we would be able to execute the full contract package at the next meeting, that would expire the 30 days. So if we go ahead and give them a notice to proceed, that allows them to go ahead and notify all their subcontractor teams and get their bonds and basically lock in the pricing. So any questions that you may have to that?
I would ask City Attorney, would that be a part of the motion is to issue the order to proceed with the acceptance of the bid?
Well, I think that the timeliness of wanting to get them started, but obviously, we've always said from this board that we want to review the contract
Sure.
before we sign the contract, but so I think we can have them proceed with the idea that they're going to send us the contract real soon that can be reviewed and approved, so, but that's always the caveat is
Right.
proceeding without having eyeballs on the contract.
So do you have a recommendation?
My recommendation is you go ahead and approve that, but we won't be bound until we sign the contract, contingent upon signing the contract.
But with the intent of a notice to proceed?
Yes.
Being awarded or being part of the acceptance of this contract, or this, excuse me, of this awarding of this bid. I'm very gratified that these bids came in what we thought were going to be much higher, quite frankly. And it's a really important project, as we'll hear shortly. I would fully support this contract. And with the notice to proceed, obviously it's going to help us lock our pricing in, which always seems to be an issue these days. So I would take the recommendation of the city attorney and our city engineer and ask that you consider awarding this bid to CM&E with a notice to proceed attached to that.
Are you okay?
I'm fine with that.
So moved.
All right? Are you seconding? Great. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Aaron, thank you very much for your work on that. I sure appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Really excited about this project. All right, we've got two other items of unfinished business. The second would be a bid opening, Warsaw PD sponsored 2023 fuel prices. So, Scott, looks like we've got two or one?
One for
Okay.
each. Maybe. Some tough envelopes out there.
So this bid would be for 2023 pricing, 80,000 gallon minimum of 87 octane unleaded at $2.99 per gallon.
Is it $2.99?
$2.99 per gallon. We have a very short time to react to this, correct? As today.
Correct.
All right. Do you want to take this under advisement and then make a recommendation back? Yes, absolutely. All right. All right. And we also have a bid opening for diesel fuel. We've got one bid. And this proposal is from Series Solutions Co-op. This is for on-road diesel fuel price per gallon of $3.74 per gallon, $3.74 per gallon for on-road diesel fuel. For off-road diesel fuel, the price per gallon is $3.89.5, $3.895 off-road diesel fuel price per gallon. And ethanol-free gasoline price per gallon, $3.48 per gallon. $3.48 per gallon. And that's for $25,000 gallons of on-road fuel in 2022. Is this for the rest of the year? Okay. All right.
With the option of extending it.
All right, do you want to take this under advisement and then, all right. Okay. All right. So, let's move on to new business. Our first item of business is Costco County Kettleheads road closure request. Is there a member from Kettleheads here?
Anyone that wants to join?
All right, so they're having a homebrew fest September 24th. Event starts at 4 o'clock, ends at 9 o'clock. They're asking for the road closure from 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. to set up. This would be on Buffalo Street from Center to Main. This event's been held in the past. It was held last year. I don't know that there's
Is it really 9 a.m. to midnight?
no, they'll be setting up. They'll be
Okay.
setting up from 9 to midnight,
Oh, and
but the
then-
event is from 4 to 9.
Oh, okay.
Joel, any problems that way?
No, sir, no objection.
Okay, and fire, yeah, just that.
Is the intersection at Main and Buffalo closed, or is it
Nope, just the street. All right, you guys have any questions?
Not really. They didn't check the insurance box, which always kind of bugs me.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah. But
Well, do you want to hold off?
no, I don't, I mean, not if, had they.
Do you have a recommendation on that? Is that problematic?
I think it's problematic for them.
Okay.
I would insure I think they would like to, it's a better idea for them to insure their event.
Maybe I ought to just remind him of that, maybe then, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't personally feel that our allowing them to close the road and use the road presents much liability to the city,
Okay,
but
all right. That'll just be another layer of,
but I think
Liability
it's-
protection
It's
if
good
it-
for people who have public events to insure those events, but that's just
Yeah,
all right.
my,
somebody should remind him, but I'll make a motion, we accept the closure, since everyone seems to be on board.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. All right. Item number 2 is our memorandum of understanding with our donor for the Center Lake Pavilion project. We have been purposefully concealing that donor for many reasons, but today is a very important day for the city. I think it's a very important day for Zimmer Biomet. Our donation from Zimmer Biomet, as you all know, is $2.5 million towards the project that we just awarded a bid for $2.7 million. We've been very fortunate enough to be able to work with Zimmer Biomet on this project, planning this project, upgrading a very important part of our community. This project will be fantastic. This project will involve a complete remodel of the pavilion, increasing the capacity of the pavilion, opening the pavilion up to the lake. There's not been any real work done on that pavilion since evidently a little bit of fire repair back in the 80s, 90s, Larry, it was that early 90s. Pavilion was built in 1935, okay. So the pavilion has really, as the heart of our community, and especially during the pandemic, the importance, the role that pavilion had in community health, blood drives, vaccinations, testing, became a really critical part of our community during that time. We certainly like to think that the pavilion is going to be used for a lot more enjoyable recreational activities, as it certainly will. This will do nothing but enhance that. Our partnership with Zimmer Biomet, who is in view of the pavilion, is, I think, very, very obvious. Their role in our community dates back to way before I was born. It goes back into the late 1800s, early 1900s. They've been foundational to our community. Orthopedic industry, the leaders, global leaders in the orthopedic industry. And we just are today here very humbled to accept that donation, to strike an agreement with them, and to thank them for their involvement in our community, supporting our community. And this is just a grand gesture of their commitment to the city of Warsaw. What I'd like to do is have Adam Greiner come to the podium. Adam's a representative of Zimmer Biomet. And Adam, I know, has got a few things to say, and then we'll entertain the MOU.
Good morning. Thanks for the opportunity to share with you this morning. Just to provide a little clarification, it's the Zimmer Biomet Foundation, which is technically a separate entity from Zimmer Biomet, but it's the foundation that is committing this $2.5 million grant for the pavilion. Again, Mayor, as you said, my name is Adam Greiner. I'm a manager of corporate social responsibility for Zimmer Biomet. I've been with the company for 25 years here in Warsaw, and I co-manage the foundation with my colleague Tabby McDonald, who's here as well this morning. But we just want to share our excitement in partnering with the city in this opportunity for the city. This foundation grant advances our commitment to the Warsaw community. I think that's very important. And Warsaw is a very special place, home of Zimmer Biomet headquarters since it's 1927. And also this community has been home to thousands of our team members that have worked there at Zimmer Biomet in the Warsaw facilities for many years. And so the Park Pavilion is, well, I would say we wanted to give back to the entire community in a meaningful, long-term way. And we learned about this Pavilion project, and we felt this was the perfect project because of what it provides for the people in the city. The public health initiatives that you mentioned, Mayor, gathering event for events and families. So hopefully post-COVID, we'll get back to normal events like that for gathering with families and the community. So looking forward to seeing that. But I just want to say on behalf of the foundation, thank you, Mayor and the board, for the opportunity to collaborate with you on this. And we look forward to the development, the progress of the pavilion and its use by the entire community in the future. So thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah.
Thank you. So the agreement itself just pretty much lays out the way the funds will be dispersed. I've had the city attorney go through that and give his approval. Scott, I don't think there's anything in there that warrants any discussion from you unless you had anything
No,
specific.
it's just been really good to work with Zimmer Biomet to get that agreement. It's great.
Questions?
Yeah, I'll move we approve the letter of understanding, memorandum to approve the grant agreement.
All right,
I'll second that.
I appreciate that. And again, as Adam stated, this is our agreement is with the Zimmer Biomet Foundation. So any further comments, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right,
Thanks
thank you.
again.
I'd ask you all stick around and maybe after the meeting we'll get a photo. I think you've got a press release that you are sending out. Is that correct, Adam? That's correct. Okay. All right, great. Well, thank you, and we're really looking forward to the partnership. I know you'd asked the question. I think the contract shows that they've got to get started within 35 days of signing the contract.
That is correct.
And then
We
it,
can probably call 35 days as notice to proceed that we're going to give them, quite honestly.
So-
In about 35 days, they should be ready to start seeing some action.
so that will start pretty quickly, and then I think it's about a 10 or 11 month period that it is set aside. The actual construction timeline will certainly depend on many factors as we've learned over the last few years. Aaron, any other comments on the
I
contract?
think that is a good point that you mentioned. The intent with the CME agreement is that they would start work 35 days, and then they do have basically an entire year to finish the project, which, yeah, that's the nature of right now, what we needed to do to get it right and to get a fair bid price on the project. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to see the progress as it goes. I personally will be given a status report monthly to you, Mayor, and you'll be able to share that with the group at Zimmer Biomet Foundation as well.
All right, I sure appreciate that. So yeah, hopefully next year, maybe about this time, we'll be cutting a ribbon and really enjoying the new facility. So again, on behalf of the city, a very large thank you to the Zimmer Biomet Foundation. Larry, I know you're back there smiling.
I am. You know, they could have chosen a lot of other opportunities in the city, and they chose the Center Lake Pavilion, and we're, you know, put that value back into our community, back into our park system, and we're very grateful for that.
Great. Thank you. And Chris, I know you were part of this. Chris Stein from Design Collaborative. It's just been a real joy to get this project off the ground, and here we set contracts getting ready to get signed, and we're ready to get rolling on it. So thanks to everyone for their cooperation and collaboration, and most notably, the Zimmer Biomet Foundation. Thank you. All right. Let's move on to item number 2. Jeremy, you've got a pay application number 30. Not as sexy as the last one, but
No, probably a bigger project though at this point. Yeah, so you have pay application 30 PE for the ongoing Anchorage Road project. This is an NDOT project, so we pay out 100%, get reimbursed 80%. This pay application is an amount of $7,210.20 to Structure Point, and you have the attached claim for the state for reimbursement as well.
Questions?
No, I'll move to approve the pay app.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The next item, same project, only this would be a right-of-way.
Yep, so as we continue to acquire right-of-way, I think we have two parcels left to acquire. So this is just those right-of-way services. Once again, Structure Point's our consultant on this project. It's 80/20, so we'll pay out 100%, get reimbursed 80%, and this amount is $1,002.93.
Questions?
No,
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move, so moved.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, item number 5, Lynn, you've got your Keystone agreement?
We did, it's the annual agreement for our fund and assets and payroll. And if you notice, on one part, I scratched out the email direct deposit advices because we haven't been using that since the IT committee suggested that we not send for checks over emails.
All right. Questions?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And Lynn, I assume you're also presenting the wastewater payment office similar agreement?
I can. It's just the same thing, only they just have the billing, and I guess they didn't scratch anything out on their invoice, so.
So you're recommending the approval of that
Yeah,
agreement?
if you want people billed, we better approve it.
All right.
I move to approve.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. Item 7, Chief. Regional Public Safety Training Grant Permission to accept $3,460.
5,360.
There was a, okay.
So back in early May, we requested permission to apply for these grants. They're basically window simulators for our district training center. We can pop them in place and simulate rescues and VEIS and different tactics as far as they come with glass and all that stuff. We weren't awarded the full amount, however, we were awarded $5,360, and that will allow us to purchase the 2 that we requested along with some glass replacements. It is 100% reimbursement. The award performance period is July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. However, we needed to respond to them no later than August 1st. And we did with verbal permission from the mayor. However, we are seeking permission from the Board of Works to accept that grant as it was passed at the fire territory meeting a couple of days ago. So we're just requesting permission.
So the fire
to
territory
accept.
made the recommendation to accept the grant, and we're just asking you all to do the same thing.
I move to accept.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Denny? Morning? Where's Denny? There he is. Denny's got travel requests and then new hire and change report, so we'll start with the travel request.
Okay, so on the travel request, Chief, you want to speak on the?
Yeah, there's just a misunderstanding how it was filed. The dive rescue was previously approved, I think, in July, but we just kicked him back to Denny so that he knew that we actually were not sending the officers because they're being trained locally through fire personnel. So we're just making a note up to the board. So those are previously approved, they will no longer be attending. So kind of the mistake was added to today's list.
All right.
So the rest of what you have 3 gentlemen from wastewater going to Indianapolis for the 25th Annual Pollution Prevention Conference. And then we've got a team of 9 individuals going from wastewater going to Fort Wayne for the Indiana Water Environment Association Annual Conference.
All right, questions?
No, I move to accept with the strike of the 3 dive rescue travel requests.
I'll second that.
Lynn?
That's perfect.
All right.
Jeff just did it.
All right, further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, and then you've got a new hire and change in payroll report.
Yep, our new hires, a change of payroll. Sergeant Reed is taking a voluntary reduction to corporal so that he can become the SRO at the high school. The next three are position changes. They are moving from their current positions to the construction tech team. 2 new firefighters. And Tristan was a part-time firefighter with us for a while, so bringing on one of our part-timers to be a full-timer, and then we are bringing Logan in from Northeast Indiana. I skipped Tony Shamball, Administrative Assistant at the Street Department, is a new hire. Chris Francis coming over from the Sheriff's Department to be a patrol officer with the city. And then Darnell Shoemaker will be our new utility payment clerk. She'll be backfilling Penny as Penny retires.
All right, questions?
I'll move to approve the new hire change report.
Second.
All right. Before I ask for a vote on that, I do want to make a comment. I'm appreciative that we've added another police officer. Scott, do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, this is the officer I alluded to at the council meeting, but, Chris Francis, well-known in our community, 15-year veteran. He actually spent a few years before that in the jail, but very experienced, and he's going to bring a lot of knowledge to our police department. He starts on the 4th. So,
Yeah.
This brings us up to, is this
38.
38?
He's
All right,
38, correct.
great, thank you.
Great news.
All right. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. Justin?
Yeah, so before you have a request to accept a grant that was given to us from the Community Foundation in the amount of $6,250. The purpose of this grant is to reimburse the artists that did the temporary art display downtown. Those are college-level artists that are displaying their art temporarily throughout downtown. And this reimbursement was part of the initial agreement with the Warsaw Community, the Arts Committee that they had with the artists to reimburse them for their materials to create the artwork that was displayed downtown. So just ask that you accept that grant. And we were really excited with the response to that artwork. It was really well received in our community, and I think some of the artists were really surprised at how many people were reaching out, asking pricing and different things. So really excited at how that worked out. So.
And Justin's been a very important part of the Warsaw Public Arts Commission. Susie Light and her group have done a lot of work to get this display, this exhibition this summer. Really excited, looking to maybe catapult to a even larger exhibit next summer, to be determined, of course. But this year, I think folks have really taken to the artwork downtown. It's different to see a couple giraffes nibbling at trees off City Hall parking lot, but really attracts a lot of attention. And Justin, we had to figure out a way to get the art set in our flower boxes without being too disruptive, and came up with some great solutions. And we have three artists that have put a lot of work in. And certainly thanks to the Community Foundation for that grant. Any questions?
Move to accept.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right.
So the next item I have for you is it's an addendum number 1 for it. This is an NDOT project, the Lincoln Neighborhood Sidewalk Project. This is more of one of those NDOT administrative things that we have to do. So when the project was rebid, it was significantly higher. So this addendum is a result of that price increase for the project. So it's still an 80-20 match. So NDOT is committing the funds for this project in the amount of $2.4 million. So that reflects the new bid amount that we received. So I just ask for your approval of addendum 1.
Questions?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second that.
All right, any further questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Justin. Item 12, Captain Bean. It's a request to purchase.
The police department's requesting permission to go into a 60-month contract with Digital Ally to cover the purchase of 28 body cameras. We have used Digital Ally for well over a decade. We have a great relationship with them. We trust what they do with us. These new body cameras are HD. They download by Wi-Fi. They're amazing, amazing picture. For this first year, it's $20,776. Approximately $11,200 of that will be covered by a grant that we requested and we were awarded earlier in this year. So we're requesting permission to go into a 60-month contract with Digital Ally.
I would just say that, in my opinion, is probably the most important piece of police equipment that our officers have at their disposal. I just truly feel that way. And appreciate you all going out and looking for ways to help us fund that. I know the storage, cloud storage is not cheap.
Cloud storage is the new thing for police departments, and subscription-based is what everyone is going for. And the city attorney was able to look at the contract, and I don't believe he had any issues with it.
So Joel, is this the first cloud storage contract we've had, or have we used
Yes.
cloud in the past?
No, we have been putting it off as long as possible and storing everything in-house, which is a large gigabyte after gigabyte of storage.
I think the IT governance committee will probably be really happy about this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, questions?
No, I'll move we approve the purchase of the body cameras, including the cloud storage.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? You did allude to good quality photos and pictures with these cameras. Certainly an improvement from what we've got, just better technology.
Significantly, absolutely. In fact, we had a call that I was curious about, and I was actually able to watch the officer deal with the call before he even came back, because it downloaded before he came back. And the picture's amazing.
Right. Great.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, Dustin.
Okay, this update on the contract here from Hodges Edition Phase 2. This is going to be kind of a 3-point request. So I'll go over this in general, and then we can open up with any questions to discuss this. So an invitation for sealed bids was for the reconstruction of Hodges Edition Phase 2 was opened on June 17th. We actually awarded that to G&G Hauling, and then the owner contractor agreement was signed on July 15th. While submitting that contract to NDOT to receive your funding for a community crossings grant, we were notified that G&G was not pre-qualified at the time pre-qualified contractor at the time with Indiana Department of Transportation, therefore making their bid not responsible. The specific Indiana codes are attached to this from VS Engineering with all this. So the first thing we're asking is that we reject G&G's award and contract for this grant. And then the second thing will be to award it to Fenton Brown in the amount of $1,200,159.84, as they had been pre-qualified through the Indiana Department of Transportation, and their bid is responsible. And then the third thing is the attached for your approval is the owner contractor agreement for Fenton Brown to move on and turn back over to the state.
All right, so let's
we have been in contact with the city engineer, and myself has been in contact with Fenton Brown. The president of Fenton Brown is actually here as well, just to confirm that their bid and they are ready to move on.
All right.
Is G&G aware of the
They have been made aware, yes.
Yeah, the error was caught by NDOT, so we're certainly respectful of that omission or error, whatever it would be, and felt it was important to comply, obviously, and it just, it's unfortunate, but that's the way it's written. So, do you want us to reject the G&G contract separately first with a vote?
Yeah, I think we're required to by state statute. We don't have a choice, but
All
I
right,
think what's necessary, yeah.
I'd ask for that motion.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, those opposed? Passed unanimously. The second would be to accept the bid from Fendon Brown in the amount of 1.2159.84. So $1.2,159.84.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And item 3 would be to accept the contract that appears to be attached here. And Dustin and Scott, I assume that you're all have gone through the contract and are,
Yeah, I think we're good with the contract, of the bid contract, the owner, purchaser, the
so
owner
you
contractor.
recommend to the board that we approve the
Yes, we need
contract?
to request approval of that as well, so we can get that back to NDOT and get our funding.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
With Fendon Brown.
Yes.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. Appreciate it, Dustin. Dustin, will that work start, any just updates for the community on timeline on that project?
Well, the next step will be, again, hopefully later this afternoon, getting the contract, the signed contract back to NDOT so they can go ahead and release the community crossings funding to us. And then we'll be getting a Fendon Brown a notice to proceed. But talking with their president earlier, it looks like shortly after Labor Day is basically when they plan on starting.
All right,
So,
thank you. All right, Brian. Pay app number 2 to G&G Hauling for the Center Lake Shoreline Restoration.
Yes, this work's been completed, it's been reviewed by the city engineer, and we're recommending payment for that project. It's pretty much complete, right? I mean,
It is complete. There will be a final bill for the
Right.
retainage. The job is complete.
All right,
I'll move to approve the pay app.
is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Item 15 would be pay app number 2 to G&G for the Country Club Land and Country Club Lane Extension section.
yeah, this is the pervious pavement area that we're sort of trying out in this area. It's going very well. They've got all the block down. They're pouring the curb along this road. I would tell you to go out and look at it, but there's not enough room for a lot of traffic out there. But it is kind of a neat looking road now with all the block down. And
Looks great, because I live out there. Yeah, it looks great.
It's on track to complete next week if you are interested in that.
Yeah.
Okay. Questions?
No, I'll move to approve.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. Item 16 would be pay app 2 to G&G Hauling for Kelly Park Pond improvement.
yes, this is for work they performed, and there may be some materials on this as well that they have purchased. It's been reviewed by,
It's just the work they performed
Right.
before we had to put a pause works on those guys last month.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Scott, would you give just a very brief update on this project and where we're heading with that. The Kelly Pond, per our meeting.
Yeah, so we're continuing to work with our engineers and with our contractor to construct the project. We have some elevation issues that we're working through, and unfortunately, those elevation issues are in a swamp. So it's really woolly out there. The grass is 10, 12 feet tall. So we got some additional survey work that we need to complete before we move forward with the project. And we're currently working with both our engineer and our contractor to see that this project goes forward. We're just delayed for a period while we do some final engineering work, surveying work, and try to work through some of the difficulties that we discovered with some of the elevations.
So at the end of the day, the project has been delayed, but we are moving forward with it. So.
And right now, I think our anticipation is that that project will move forward with additional construction. The likely timeline is spring of next year.
23.
Yes.
All right. All right. Item 17. Again, wastewater, Country Club Lane improvements with VS Engineering. Amount of $370.20.
Oh, we took that off. I don't know why you have that agenda on your report.
Well, it's on my agenda, so that has been removed. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Any special claims, Lynn?
No special claims.
All right. That was on my agenda too.
Well, we
Item
never know when there's
19,
gonna be special claims.
approval of claims docket.
Just real quick, going back to that country club work out there, the contractor, very complimentary of Aaron, saying very easy to work with and came up with some good ideas and all that. So I just meant to give you kudos before I forget.
And the contractor's been great themselves. That's part of what makes the project go.
Yeah, that was good relationship.
All right.
Claims docket, did you see anything? I'm good. I didn't see anything. You, Joe?
Nope.
So I'll move we approve the claims docket as presented.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Any other items carried forward? Dustin? Oh, excuse me, the bids. Yeah, Scott, you want to go first with the recommendation to the board for the, yeah.
It's like reliving it, man. Great.
It's got seniority, Dustin.
That's right.
This fuel bid's much lower than yours, too. So after reviewing the bid from Lassus Brothers, the only bid at $299, they have met all the specifications that's on the bid specs. And this topic came up at the council meeting, just wanted to hit on, what the specs were required. The 80,000 gallons, obviously, but the minimum of 2 fueling locations. Lassus Brothers has 3 in the corporate limits. Gas cards for each vehicle with the PIN numbers assigned to each employee for both monitoring the employee and the vehicle. And then the monthly usage reports that are provided to the clerk's office. So, but my recommendation would be to approve
To accept.
To accept, yes.
Setting our price for 23 fuel at $2.99.
$299 for 2023.
All right. Questions?
I move to approve.
I'll second that.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right, Dustin.
Well, following reviewing the bid prices for fuel, same thing, we're going to ask the board to, or recommend the board go ahead and accept these as presented for on-road diesel at $3.75, I guess. Off-road diesel at $3.89 and ethanol-free gas at $3.48 a gallon.
All right. Questions?
No,
I move to approve all 3.
I'll second that.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anyone else? All right. Before I ask for a motion to adjourn, I'd ask our partners from Zimmer Biomet to stick around, and Larry and Chris and whoever else wants to be in the picture, how's that? All right. Now, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, thank you.
Jeremy. Joe, after you're all done, can I meet with you and Jeremy for about 10 minutes? I'll need 10. Can you give me 10?
Barely, but let's move. We're gonna get our picture. Let's go get our picture. taken. You guys,
5, 10 minutes.
I want you guys in the picture.
Huh?
We're going over this way for the picture. Chris, Larry, over this way.
Picture, George.
Well,
How's my hair look?
it looks good. And you're tall, so don't stand next to me.
You want to do what? Oh. I want to talk about that. Yeah, let's get some pictures.
No, like, it was like 3 or 4. If it wasn't